Well, I sold out of my last remaining Yield Max positions today. I want to talk about that, why I did it, what I'm doing with the cash that I've sold, well, the cash that I have remaining from selling Misty and Nvidia today, and what I'm going to be doing with it in the future. This is Mike, Tactical Stock Scalper. All right. This is a beautiful part of Kansas City. I just wanted to share this picture. Winter's coming and I can't wait. And it just, anyway, that's that. So, last year in 2024, before we corrected, I sold out of almost all my yield max positions. I held very little. And I posted this because this is what I was waiting for, was for a corrective measure or something, crash, whatever, so I could get into ETFs that would grow over time and their distributions would grow over time. And so, yeah, I was super happy when we corrected because I had all the cash on hand from selling all my YieldMax funds, and I got in to SpyEye and stuff like that. Well, in let's talk about Nvidia and Misty, the two remaining YieldMax positions I had that I sold off on, and I was in return on investment in Nvidia. I have been there for the last like 3 months or so. And that means that every distribution for the last 3 months has been profit. Now you can say, Mike, why don't you just hold it longer and collect all those distributions? And that was a thought, right? But I'm obviously worried when we correct what would happen. Like here's Nvidia, right? It's at highs, all-time highs, and soaring and consolidating up here. It could rip up or drop or whatever. And then here's Nvidia, right? And if we do drop, this thing is really going to plummet hard. I mean, it's nowhere. Obviously, I know yield max funds aren't growth funds, obviously, but I didn't want to hold that, and I didn't want to hold it any longer than I really had to. I think I'm pushing my luck with it, with how the market has been ripping, and we haven't corrected. And here's their distributions. Now, they continue to go down over time. And so all that means is even though I have reached return on investment, my profit would be smaller and smaller, which we all know, as time goes on. And I didn't really want that. So I went ahead and took my 3 months worth of profit and I just put it into cash. It's actually into SGov currently, but then you can see the distribution history here for Nvidia as it continues to fall, and it's just I don't want to deal with it. So my timing was lucky, last year in 2024. You can see that oval. I started making videos about this, that I was selling off yield max positions in this area because I was worried with how the market kept ripping that a correction would come, and I didn't know what would happen. I was just worried. It had nothing to do with great technical analysis or whatever. You're just in a market long enough, once you keep ripping up long enough, you're like, ooh, I might need to trim some of my riskier positions. And so that's what I'm doing. And the riskiest positions I hold anymore in my retirement account are Misty and Nvidia. So just like 2024, I'm doing the same thing. I'm selling off the remaining part of my yield max because I am worried about a correction or crash at some point. Now, it could happen in a month, could happen in a week, could happen in a year. I don't know when it's going to happen. I would just rather be on the upside and be positive. And like my grandson here, I just want to stack that cash. And I've been building SGov for months. And I want to continue to build it as my safety net. And it's just been great. So continue to build SGov. Now, why did I sell Misty? Well, there's an issue here with Mister. Number one, you can see here, see that green line right there? That's a 50 EMA on a weekly time frame. You can see it's been consolidating there around the number around for a number of weeks. When this breaks, if it breaks, whatever, the next level of support is at 250. You can see previous support over there around the 250 area, and the red line coming up is a 100 EMA on a weekly time frame. It could hold there, and it could bounce from there like it did before. But the problem with that is and let's just say it breaks through that level. It could. Technical analysis isn't about, oh, this is a line in the sand. It's always going to go up or down from this level. No, it's a buy and sell level. And that's what you use technical analysis for. And I was going to wait to see if we broke this 50 EMA, and then I would get out. But I figured, what the heck. And with Misty here, if Mr. breaks this level and goes down to 250, okay, and then down to 200 or whatever, where does that put Misty? What, $10? $8? And the distributions on Misty have been going down, like all YieldMax funds go down, even ULTY. I know people don't want to hear it, but all YieldMax funds, their distributions go down over time. So do I really want to hold Misty if we do correct and Mr. breaks this level of support? I don't. So I was ahead on both, and so it was time to just move on, okay? So my next holding now, what I'm going to be looking at, just like I bought SpyEye when we crashed in the early part of this year, these two funds are the ones I'm looking at. I'm definitely getting GPIX, and there's a reason for it. You can see the growth, and it is a dividend fund, although it's not, doesn't pay a massive yield. It's like 9% or something. But I do like the growth with it. But what I really like is the distributions go up over time. And that's important to me here in semi-retirement, is that my distributions don't decline. They actually go up over time. And you could see here where we corrected with the dividends right here and how they fell. But what happened after we corrected and the market ripped up? The distributions went up. They grew over time along with the share price. And so that's invaluable to me, because that means I don't have to put anything back in. I can pull the distributions 100%. And that's so important to me, as opposed to reinvesting 70, 80, 90, 100%. I'm also looking at this one, but I already have QQQI, and it built, for me anyway, a pretty nice position in it. But so I don't know if I want to have 2 or 3 NASDAQ-related funds, because I also have QDTE currently. So I don't know, but this one is very similar, right? The distributions go up over time. Yes, they went down when we corrected, like everything else did, but you can see the distributions recover. Do the distributions recover in the Misty I held? No, they do not. Do the distributions recover in NVIDIA, even though it's at NVIDIA, its underlying is at all-time highs? Shouldn't the distributions recover somewhat? Well, they don't. And preserving capital is super important, I think, for me anyway, in retirement. It just doesn't make sense to hold something during a corrective measure that could be a possible corrective measure whenever it occurs, and to hold on to something that just won't recover. Now, if you're going to get into YieldMax, buying it, after a correction or whatever is fine, because we've seen the success that it's had when you buy low, like pretty much anything else in the market, right? And then able to time the market, buy it low, and then so you got to time it, right? And then it goes up, and you'll get some little growth with it, but the dividends still, or distributions, whatever you want to call them, still decline over time. So for me in retirement, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So unfortunately, all those videos I did about YieldMax and all that is gone in my account now. I'm done with YieldMax, at least for now, and possibly, I don't want to say never, right? But as far as I can see, I don't anticipate ever getting back into Yield Max, honestly. It just doesn't make sense for my goals and what we have for our life. I did buy this Dividend King hat off my merch store, which I think is cool. You might not like it, but it's whatever. I like it. I like designing my own merch and I'm buying it for myself, but I digress. Yeah, so I'm going to be looking, definitely getting GPIX when we correct. And so I just have my cash in SGov like I've been keeping it for the last number of months, waiting on whatever corrective measure will come, and then deploying that cash then. And that way I'll have a meaningful amount to put in because, like I said, it's only a 9% yield or whatever, but the growth is really nice. And so that means I can pull all the distributions 100%. And that's where I'm headed with my account in the future. Hope you enjoyed it. This is Mike. Talk to y'all later.